So 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 2 pi. That's pi. Pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, so that's 1 period. This would be negative pi over 2 and negative pi. So pi over 4 to the left is one grid line. Okay, not a black tick mark, but one grid line, because pi over 4 is half of pi over 2. So I'm going to move over here and here, so that the yellow lines mark the beginning and end of the period. Okay, they're not necessarily asymptotes. I'll probably erase them in a minute because they're not. But that's the horizontal shift to the left. Okay, so for secant, which is a reciprocal of cosine, we have maximums at the beginning and the end of the period. We have the zeros 1/4 of the way, which now it's not at pi over 2, but one grid line over, right there at pi over 4. And then not at the 3/4 of the period is not 3 pi over 2, but the one right here. The minimum is no longer at pi, but one grid line over. Okay, so everything got moved over to the left, pi over 4. So with that in mind, I'm going to draw the asymptotes. So let me erase these first, because these are not really asymptotes. They're just to help you see the horizontal shift. Okay, so it's okay if I left a little bit of yellow there. So now the actual asymptotes would be here and here. So the maximum is the u towards the asymptote going up like that. The minimum is the asymptote going down. I mean, not the asymptote, the u going down. And then the maximum again is the u going again up towards the asymptote. So we can do half a period on the left or half on the right, however you want to. Well, I think we have enough room on the right. Excuse me. Let's label it. So 2 pi, this would be 5 pi over 2, 3 pi, 7 pi over 2, and 8 pi. I'm sorry, not 8 pi, 4 pi. 8 over 2 is 4 pi. So this is 4 pi. Okay? So the shifting over to the left would be here, and it would start right here, right? So the 0 is beginning and end, so here and here. No, the 0, the maximum, sorry, I'm getting my terms mixed up. The 1/4 of the way would not be at 5 over 2, but one grid line over. So instead of being at 5 pi over 2, it'd be right here. And the other one, instead of being at 7 pi over 2, it'd be right here, one grid line over to the left. The minimum would not be at 3 pi, but it would be one grid line to the left, right there. Okay, so the asymptotes would go here and here. So now the u's. So at this maximum here, it completes the u. The minimum goes down, and the maximum goes up towards the asymptote, like that. And that's it, 2 periods. Okay, so for number 155, it's the reciprocal of cosine, and the a value is 1/4, so that means that the cosine graph has a vertical compression or vertical shrink by a factor of 1/4. The period is 4, because it's 2 pi over 2, so that becomes 4. So count 4 tick marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be 4. So that's 2, 1, so it's just normal counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So the zeros for cosine are 1/4 and 3/4 of the way. The maximums are beginning and end, so I use 2 lines for 1, so that would be like halfway right there, here, and then the minimum would be a -2, so I'm going to go right over the 2 right there. Asymptotes go wherever the 0 is, and then the u's, you go to the maximum, which is here at 0, 1/4, go up, the minimum at 2 negative 1/4 go down, and then another half of a u on 4 1/4. That's one period. They want you to draw both, right? They want you to draw 2 full periods. So I'm going to extend it over to the right side, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And the cosine has a 0 at 5 and 7, a maximum at 4 and 8, and a minimum at 6. So I'm going to draw the asymptotes at 5 and 8. And then on 4 1/4 I'm going to complete the u. At 6 negative 1/4 it goes, oops, did I draw it? Drew it on the wrong one, sorry. Just realized it does not go here. Rather it goes here on the 0. Yeah, that seemed too wide. And so let me finish the u on 6 negative 1/4 it goes down, and then at 8 1/4 it goes up. And then they want you to draw, for this one it says include the reciprocal function, so we're going to use a dotted curve to draw the cosine. So it's a very small a value, so it's really compressed vertically. Okay, and there it is. Okay, for 157, it's a cosecant function. The a value is 4. The period is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. The phase shift, we set the argument equal to 0 and solve for x. So you see the work right there. X is pi over 4. It's a positive number, so we know it's going to the right. So let's see. The period is pi, so you count 4 tick marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and label it pi, pi over 2, pi over 4, and 3 pi over 4. Okay, so let's extend it a little bit more. So that's 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4 is 3/2. 7 pi over 4, and 8 pi over 4 is 2 pi. Okay, so let me just make this one, that's going to be 4. Okay, so the function is going to translate to the right, pi over 4, so it's going to actually start here and end here for one period. Okay, now cosecant is a reciprocal of sine. So the zeros for sine are beginning, middle, and end. Maximum is 1/4 of the way, minimum is 3/4 of the way. Okay, so I can draw the asymptotes right here wherever I see wherever the graph is a 0. Here, here, and here. The maximum point gives you the u going up. The minimum point gives you the u going down. Okay, they want 2 full periods, so on the right hand I'm going to draw half a period, on the left I'm going to draw the other half because I ran out of room on the right. So I'll count 2 tick marks. Let's see right here. So this would be, make a pointer. This is the beginning, this is the 1/4, and this would be the middle, and this would be the 3/4, right? So we're only going to do these 2 here, that's half a period, and these 2 over here, that's another half of the period. Okay, so let me label the left side. This would be negative pi over 4. Okay, so the next, so beginning and middle would be right here, and the first would be, the 1/4 would be up to the positive, and over here on the left side, negative pi over 4 is another 0, the middle, and then down on the y-axis you go down to negative 4. So here's an asymptote, and here's another asymptote at 7 pi over 4. So 0, negative 4 is the u going down, and 3 pi over 2, positive 4 is the u going up. Notice how they alternate, one top, one bottom, one top, one bottom, the u's. So now we're going to do the other part of the problem they ask you to do. They want you to graph the reciprocal function. So use a dotted curve and just complete the sine graph. Okay, there's 2 full periods right there.